Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 14th of December, comes to you from London, and we start the week looking pretty bullish. Of course, this is the last full week before the Christmas week next week, and we see here a lot of green on the screen. And I'll start by looking at currencies, then stocks and commodities. And we see, as I say, a lot of green on the screen. And I'll look at the energy mix at the end. So I'm running here on Updata on multiple data services. I'm running predominantly on Refinitiv Icon, but of course you can run Updata on dozens of different data sources. So you just pull your data into Updata, whether you're running Icon, Bloomberg, Trayport, no matter what you're running, you can pull it in. And so here we see the long term, the medium term, and the short term view of the market, weekly, daily, and 60-minute, with the corresponding point and vigor charts. So we start by looking at the dollar. The dollar has got off to a very bad start this week, sinking to new lows. We saw here on the weekly candle, we had a very big down week the week before last. Last week was flat, but we started this week falling lower still. So dollar weakness is still a theme, and we see here on the dollar index, we've got targets 1% lower for the week. Looking at the euro, we're sitting at 121.60 this morning, just nudging new highs, looking very bullish. Of course, we've had the move into the pattern, the consolidation, and the move out. So we are looking very strong on the euro indeed. And if we look at the dollar yen chart, we're seeing that's below the 104 level, just a steady decline from the start of this year. We're as high as 111. We're now down at 103, and that dollar yen, we're seeing lots of downside targets there, so that's just lending weight to that dollar weakness. Sterling has jumped this morning against the dollar. We're up 1.33%, and that's on the hopes of a Brexit deal with talks being extended. We're back to short-term bullish with an upside target to 137.42. We have got this massive upside target to 150 if sterling can break higher, and on the medium-term chart we've got 139 and 146. These tracker charts just follow wherever you click on your screen, and you can download these from our libraries for your Updata system. Looking at the euro, sterling is back above the 110 level, not quite into bullish territory, has been in general decline this year, but we are very much in this 108, 113 range. That will be the key. Can we break out of that range? Quite a big range, of course. Bitcoin's back above the $19,000 level, so that's looking pretty cheery as well. We don't have any new long-term upside targets, but if we do break to new highs, we activate this target to $25,000 on Bitcoin. So that's very strong indeed. US markets were a bit subdued last week. We had a little bit of a down candle there on the weekly, and we see here we just fell away on the last few days of the week. Holding on to the bull trend on the short-term chart in the S&P, the NASDAQ 100 did make new highs the week before last, but did struggle last week, and we are just looking a bit lower, and we will look at some of the majors because that's the concern really. Looking at the Dow, we were up slightly on Friday, and most of all the futures looking better today. The Dow holding that 30,000 point mark. The futures up 0.5% on the S&P and up 0.33% on the Nasdaq E-mini. Not into bullish territory there. Nasdaq still a slight concern for the market. The VIX volatility, the fear index, is down 0.5% this morning. We are in bullish mode on the fear index on the short-term chart, so we are just seeing that rise in concerns for the market. But for the moment, the medium and long-term charts are still looking pretty okay. The markets in Europe this morning, the DAX is up 0.2%, not enough to take the market bullish. We had some quite big falls last week, and we're just really struggling to break to new highs. And of course, we still haven't broken to new highs this year, unlike the US. And the CAC Quarante much the same. In Paris, again, just short term, still in that bear zone. Japan was up 0.4% overnight, so that's looking a little bit better. And breaking to new highs, of course, has been good for Japan. The Hang Seng was down 0.4%, so it's just struggling a little bit, still bearish below the cloud on the short term chart. And the Chinese market was up 0.6%. The big thing here is this consolidation pattern. Big sideways move here showing up on the daily chart. Can we break out and break higher? We've got upside targets, and we will, but Chinese stocks not doing their thing yet. India looking very strong indeed, pushed to new highs and has really run the last few weeks, looking very bullish. So the Indian market looking strong, and the Aussie market up 0.25%. I looked at commodities now. We'll look at energy in a minute. We'll go right into the energy mix, but just looking at the precious metals first. We've got gold just sinking a bit lower this morning. So just downside targets here, some 1-2% lower. What we don't want to see is a move below that low that we saw at the start of the month. That would give us a further downside target for here of about 18%, 8% on the long-term chart. The long-term trend's still looking very bullish, but we are just in short-term a down move there. And silver, similar. We need to hold the $23 mark on silver. That's the support level. That's what we need to hold just there. So just keep an eye on that. Copper, of course, the major base metal industrially looking very strong indeed. Good upside targets, still looking pretty strong. US 10-year yields sitting at 0.9%. There we've seen just a slight decline over the last week, but still looking bullish on the long term. Quick look at the tech majors. Just slight concerns that Apple's not making new highs. Neither is Amazon. Alphabet is actually the one that is making new highs. But when we look to Microsoft and Facebook, we're just struggling to break to new highs. That is a concern for stocks, and we just need to keep an eye on that. The energy mix is looking the most bullish I've seen it this year. We've put trends and targets out to clients this morning with notes on all the targets for the week, and we're seeing Brent crude looking very strong indeed. We've got a new upside target there. We're above the $50 mark, of course. WTI is similar picture. US nat gas has actually turned a corner, so that's looking pretty strong. This is my daily, my 60-minute and my 1-minute chart. I've got a target on nat gas of 289 for the week, so that's looking pretty good. Coal was our most bullish call last week. We've run from the low 60s right up to $66. We're still looking very bullish indeed. We're on the 60-minute chart. We do still have a target of 67, and on the 1-minute chart, we do have 67.90. Don't be surprised to see a pullback and then a move higher. Watch your OTC targets here. That will give you your best clues. But coal's still looking bullish. Emissions has been a major story, of course, in recent weeks. Breaking to new all-time highs here now on the emissions chart. That's very bullish indeed. That's what we want to see there. That break of that resistance level, very key. And here we see the target. 32.35 is the target. Of course, that's a push higher, and we're just testing last week's high this morning as we speak. So keep an eye on your emissions targets, but looking very good indeed. MBP also up 2.5% this morning. Looking very strong, breaking to new highs. The targets are less clear. We do have this long-term target on the daily, massively higher, and that will be interesting to see if we can play that out next year. We are just running short of targets. Of course, you can vary your box size just to see. We do have 46.60, 46.80. That's where we've got to. So there is just a little bit of a shortage of upside targets from there. On TTF, we've got this target of 17.80. That's 8% higher. Breaking higher, we just need to see these targets push higher. Watch your OTC targets. And on winter gas, we're seeing here there's just a shortage of new impressive targets, but again we are breaking higher, so that is good news. German power above that 45 euro mark this morning. That's looking good. If we can break higher, we activate 47.60. That's 5% higher, so just keep an eye out for that. But we're looking very strong indeed now, breaking to new highs, and of course other markets will follow suit. Looking at the Nordic markets, we have actually gone neutral this morning on the Nordic markets, primarily because it's a hard read. We still are bearish here on these charts, and the short-term targets are less clear. We've got targets in both directions, and that's the same on the quarterly. We're just struggling to break to new highs. So unlike German power, we are neutral on the Nordics. Of course, very different makeup there. Last of all, a quick look at UK power, looking bullish, breaking to new highs, upside targets. So we're seeing that higher this week as well. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.